Lighter touch. Only champions with strength of 14 or lower. And int 14 or higher deal more damage. Let's see what we can even field here. Let's see what we can even field here. All right. So we got ourselves a Celeste and a Jarlaxle, and a Shara. We got a Calliope. We have no tank. We have no tank. All right. Sure. Sure. Got to get to 75. This is gonna suck. All right. But we got to make it work, right? Because that's the restriction. Boy. Boy. Real furniture, which is good, is very expensive. Yeah, but the thing is, and I was at a point in my life where I could afford to get some what I thought would be, expensive furniture. But all of the real furniture places I went to, it just wasn't, it didn't look good. And I mean, I could tell it was quality, but I was like, I don't know. Guard, do you sometimes play Bardic Inspiration songs here on breaks, like on the C&E channel? Usually it's just we have the music in the background, kind of like it is now, like the instrumental versions playing. I don't necessarily take a break where I'm playing songs from, like, with the lyrics. Yeah, that's more of just because I do a break on, like, the tutorial show, and then I used to start with a random song, and then we got theme songs, so I was like, oh, look, playing my theme song. Yeah. So no, it's more just in the C&E Games channel. I love the music though. It's not a Texas place by Yoshikira. It just happens to be in Texas. Look, folks, I'm just gonna. We talked about this on stream before. I used to love In-N-Out Burger. That used to be my favorite burger place. It used to be my favorite fast food place. During the pandemic, they came out with horrible work practices and started trying to push for, like, for changes to things that are just not in workers' best interests, and so I can't really support them anymore. Which is weird because they used to be like the company that supported their workers and gave them the best pay and everything, and now they just nope. And it's the same family that owns it. It's a family-owned company, so they just, I don't know what happened, but yeah. I know. See, I go to Whataburger. Okay, we have Whataburger here. We don't have In-N-Out here. I go to Whataburger on occasion for their chicken sandwich. I don't like any of their burgers. I don't. I have tried them. I don't like them. But I like their chicken sandwich. But the Whata sauce, that's good stuff. That's good stuff. Yeah, I wish they'd put that. I wish Darius's buffs jumped gaps again. I don't. Their argument for getting rid of that was not valid. There are multiple abilities in this game that do that. There's no reason they had to take that away. There's no reason for that. Justin. Just throw Justin under that bus because he was the one that was like, well, confused. But no. It's okay. It's okay to have abilities do different things. It's okay. What it's not okay to have is uncapped speed abilities. uh... it is what it is. Finally got past 1,400 trials in the swamp. Nice. Nice. Man, I wish I knew what my pushing power was. Like, realistically. I have no idea. Because anytime I try to push deep, my butt breaks. Only change you have really are McDonald's and I'm presuming that was McDonald's and Burger King with a handful of Wendy's. I'm so sorry. At least you've got a Frosties. At least you've got Frosties. That's about the only thing I really like about Wendy's. When I used to go to Wendy's, I'd just get like chicken nuggets and a Frosty. I didn't like it. I didn't like Wendy's stuff either, really. I don't know the last time I went to a Wendy's, but hey, at least you got Frosties. Like, I think I only go to McDonald's nowadays just because it's almost like a nostalgia meal to have. Like, to get like 2 cheeseburgers, fries, and fries, or a double cheeseburger and fries. I don't necessarily super enjoy them. I liked the McGriddle, and I can't even seem to get that. McGriddle and McDonald's hash browns for breakfast. Yes, please. If I could wake up in time to have breakfast every day, that's what I'd want. But I can't even get, like, now it's you got to have it with egg or cheese or bacon, and I'm like, I don't want any of those things on it though. I just want the pancake and the sausage in between. Once upon a time, McDonald's had some kind of burger that they were testing out back when I was in college, and it was so good I was basically addicted. I went like 3 or 4 times a week. If that burger were still on the menu, I'd probably still be a McDonald's addict. It was so good. I've never had anything like it, though. I don't even remember what it was called. They had it for it was like a 3-month trial, and then it was gone, and I was like, bring it back. They never did. You like Whataburger? That's great. I mean, yeah. I tried their burgers a couple times and just couldn't. Yeah. I tried Five Guys too, but couldn't handle that. Too greasy. Like, there's a certain amount of grease that's fine in a burger, if that's what you're looking for. But for me, it turned me off. Like, if I eat it and then it's a dead weight in my stomach for the rest of the day, I don't want to eat your burger again. And that's what it was for me. Everybody's body's going to be different. Yeah. Can't make my bud break. I tried using the debuffers, but it doesn't happen for you. I don't understand. I mean, you've all seen. I can't stop it from happening. If I put in those people, it happens. No Tyrol. No Tyrol. We can't Tyrol at all. I mean, we can put in Rosie, I guess. You know what we can do? Now that we have Rosie, I guess we've got what do you want? Quests. Complete. Oh, unlock 20 champions. Nice. That means we qualify for Mert now. But we're still 586 item levels away. Why are you still glowing? Okay. Yes, we have 20 champions now, folks. That's awesome. But yeah, item level gain is too slow. I mean, we weren't even rushing through gaining champions, and we got to 20, and this is only 75%. This is less than 70% done. We need to open Electrums here in a moment, though. Very curious what actually makes it break. I am curious too. All I know is it's linked to debuffers, and Ashara is the biggest offender. Ashara can make it break way beyond the bounds of what anybody else can do. And there's a balance between like having a certain amount of debuff power and having a certain amount of pushing power. You can't just go pure debuffers. Like, you got to take some of the weak debuffers out and put in strong buffers. I don't know why that matters, but it does. And it always triggers on like the application of a debuff, it feels, is when it really happens. So having familiars on your ultimates matters because you're triggering those applications more often. Like the trigger of the ultimates triggering because they're a bud activated thing for whatever reason that can do it. It's weird, and it only really works, and you have to build it and you have to set it and trigger it on a boss area. It doesn't really work as reliably on the in-between. So if you run into trouble in between, you got to back up to a boss area, re-spike it, and move forward. What was the McDonald's burger that was served keeping the cold and hot stuff separate? McDeal. Oh, I don't even remember. Yeah, that wasn't it. Yeah, that's interesting. What do I still miss? Like from California, I miss El Pollo Loco, which for those of you who aren't aware, it's basically it's grilled chicken. It's basically Mexican a restaurant, but it's primarily just grilled chicken. That's what they do. Is they grill tons of chicken and shred the chicken and do different things and use it in burritos and tacos and all kinds of stuff. Oh, so good. I don't know anymore. That was what? Like 15 years ago was the last time I had El Pollo Loco. I miss El Pollo Loco. That's probably the big one that I miss now. Because it didn't feel like fast food. I mean, they were literally grilling all the chicken, like, huge over an open flame. Like fresh all day long. Didn't feel like fast food, but it was. And I miss Wings and Things. That was the wing place I went to in San Diego. That wasn't fast food, but I'd like that again because I don't like the wings out here. Got massively sick in an El Pollo Loco the first time you ever went. Wow. I mean, I got massively sick. Like, the only time I got food poisoning from Mexican food was at the place that served my favorite burrito, my California burrito. I didn't hold it against them. I was back there 2 weeks later. Look, everybody makes mistakes. Give me my California burrito. I never got sick again. Like, shit happens sometimes. And, it's like if there's consistent problems, I don't go back to a place. But if there's just one problem once and it's something that could easily be, it's just a bad day, accident, who knows. Yeah. I ain't gonna be mad at him. I think everyone that lives in the American Southwest has gotten sick from their favorite 24-hour taqueria and still went back. I mean, look. Yeah. Every now and then there's going to be a mistake. I ain't going to be mad at you. Yeah, see, so we do have the Dark Urge here. I don't know that I'm going to... I don't know that I'm bringing them in. Maybe we do. I don't know. I think we leave them out. I think we stick to these. Hair-related news. Okay. Had my first haircut in 6 years yesterday. Wow. Well, I mean, if you like it, you like it. I need to get a haircut. Mine's getting a little too long up here. The Rose core just popped up on your wild offer, but it's not really a helpful core. Yeah, I mean, basically what you're paying for with the Rose core, it feels like, is you're paying for 14 Modron chests that you're going to earn while leveling it up. And then you get another core to automate things with if you don't already have enough. So you got to really, like, it has to be a low price wild offer to really feel like it's worth it. Let's pop these Electrum chests for Rosie. So here's the thing. You pop them one at a time. Basically what's going to happen is Rosie's always going to get the gear until she gets 6 items. And then it could potentially go other places, but as long as it's an upgrade, it'll still go to... It'll mostly... If it's a green, it should go to Rosie, because everybody else... That's 3. Everybody else should... there's a blue, I was going to say. But if it's a blue, it could go to anybody, because there are people who still need blues. And there, Dritz just got that one. But that's good. I think this is the last blue we needed for him. There's another. There's a 4th for Rosie. I don't know if this is a dupe or if that's a 5th. That was a dupe. I can tell because, yeah. So we've got the white and the green here. All right, let's keep going. I don't know if that's a dupe or not either. That was a dupe. I can tell because I didn't get the achievement. That's a dupe too. That's fine. It's still, we're getting greens. There's the final one. Okay. So now we get the achievement. She needs 3 more greens, and that should be the next 3 chests. Unless one of them drops a blue. Nope. We're into the duplicate zone because it rolls the rarity first. Okay, but the next 3 greens should go to Rosie. Okay, the next 2 greens should go to Rosie. Next 1 green should go to Rosie. Okay, Rosie's in full greens now. So now Rosie's in a place where we can now pop gold Rosie chests when we get them. We don't need to wait. I'm going to go ahead and pop the rest of these Electrums and just basically fish for blues. For anybody. We'll take blues for anybody. We'll also take these potions. I'm seeing those potions coming in and they're making me happy. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I will take that stuff. We also got a bunch of gems out of that. And we can buy another gold chest. Love it. Love it. Give me a blue. Archon. That's fine. It marks it off the list. Alright, Rosie's full green now. That's the best we got out of the Electrums, but honestly, that's where I wanted to get. Full green out of a set of Electrums is ideal. Because that means any named silvers you have are gonna just help build up her item levels and potentially fish for a blue, and all of your golds will drop blues. Minimum blue. So that's the best way to do it. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Now let's see. Brunner still needs 1. So let's do a tally here. Brunner needs 1. Oh, Jesus. Is that it? Tyrrell is done. Dritz is done. Delana is done. Oh my god. And we need to see Archon. Are we done? I mean, we still have to fish for these blues from Electrums, but from core chests, from regular gold chests, do we just have Brunner left? Dadius is from Electrums. Krull would be from Electrums. I gotta go look up Archon. Archon's done. We just have... We only need 1 blue. We only need 1 more gold chest, folks. As long as it drops a blue. Yay! That's a major progress milestone. In my opinion. Go us. Alright. Where are we at? 17 doesn't feel like a deal. Yeah, I don't think 17 is a deal for the Rose core, unfortunately. Thoughts on their candid answers about seasons yesterday? Pretty much what I expected to hear from them. I mean, I think they had to kind of say it publicly at that point. I mean, I think people are, being honest about things. I prefer transparency in general, especially when it comes to financial stuff. I don't think you got to hide that, and they're not a publicly traded company that I'm aware of, so they don't have to. There aren't rules about what they can and can't disclose. So yeah, I thought it was a good time to talk about it. I think they could have talked about that before, but yeah. And I think I saw someone comment, well, after seasons now, you don't necessarily, why can't you just make all the packs have that kind of value? And it's like, I think you missed the whole freaking point. Like, they were talking about, if you weren't there, they basically said $10 for everything they was giving away. It was basically like $150 worth of stuff, and they were selling it for 10. And what that created in terms of a problem for them financially was that then nothing else they sold felt worth it, felt like it had any value. And someone was like, well, then why not increase the value of those? And it's like, you missed the whole connection there. The problem isn't that the others didn't have value. The others were valued just fine before. People bought them and were okay with their purchase. Or they just didn't buy, whatever that was, right? Like, this game has, like, we've compared it to Raid before, but if you look at other free-to-play games, like Raid, the value for what you get here is very good. But what they were giving away in a season pass was too good, and it made other things just in comparison seem less valuable, even though that they aren't. They still maintain the same values they had before. And you just can't exist in that kind of ecosystem. It sounded like it kind of killed them for a certain degree. Like, they said, we sold a lot of passes, but, and they kind of, you could kind of read the bottom line. Well, not a lot. I mean, it killed off the rest of their sales, and they can't exist on $10 season passes alone. So I think it ends up being exactly kind of what I had kind of talked about as a potential reason seasons went away, was I think they lost money on seasons. And you can't do that. You can't do that as a company, right? It's one thing to have like a loss leader, like to have something like a season pass be something that is a little bit of a loss, but it gets people into the game and they buy other things. But what this was doing, it was getting people to buy the season pass, and it sounded like people weren't buying other things at all. That's a big problem. So, yeah. So yeah, if they ever were to bring seasons back, a season pass would not have that kind of value ever again. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, that's, at the end of the day, you got to keep your lights on, right? You can't keep a company open just by losing money on what you're doing effectively. Compared to, you introduce the thing and suddenly you lose money as a company, or you stop, like, your income then goes down, that you did the bad thing. You did the bad thing. And that's where, people hate it. But finding a fine line between price and contents of a pack, like creating value between a price and what is offered, finding that sweet spot, super hard. It's super hard. This is why there are people whose jobs it is just to try to figure that kind of stuff out, and those people are valued in games. But you also have to have a variety of things that, everything can't be $5. As much as a large portion of the player base sounds like they would love that, you need things that are different prices. And some people throw out the term artificial scarcity. That's not what it is. It's giving people the ability, I mean, it creates it, but it's giving people the ability to support the game at a threshold that they personally find comfortable based off their own disposable income. And people's disposable income values are different. You could have somebody who's a millionaire who wants to play your game and throw a bunch of cash at it, but if all you're doing is selling $5 familiars, they can't really give you the support that they would be able to give you if you offered different packs of different values, right? Not everybody wants to hear that, but But that's the reality. I remember kind of learning the lesson of like determining value back in Star Wars Galaxies when my friend who was a master weaponsmith had been the first master weaponsmith on our server and the first, what is it, billionaire? I mean, whatever the max amount of credits you could have on the server was, he had it on multiple characters. And he priced stuff super high, but he also had the best stuff in the game because everything wasn't equal in that game in terms of crafting. Resources had stats, and they could be random, and they were randomized as the resources spawned in the world. So he would buy tons of resources, good stats, bad stats, different prices based off what it was. Basically, I'll buy whatever you get me, and people made tons of money just selling him resources. But then he stored those resources and then played his spreadsheets and found the combinations that built the best weapons and armor in the game. And people were willing to pay, and people paid a premium to get the best, right? Primarily for PvP reasons. But there were times where he'd forget to transfer money from his merchant character over to one of his other characters, and he'd come back from work and he would have lost like 500 million credits because they just dumped into the void as people bought stuff because he didn't have room on his character. And he would talk to people about this, and they'd be like, "Why don't you just give stuff away for free?" And he was like, "Or charge less. You don't need the money." He's like, "What? Like, why would I give things away? These things have value." Like, it was fun. It was hilarious. He didn't need the money, but it's true. There was a value to what he was making, and it was a very high value. And it was like, no, like, ultimately, if he had priced stuff cheaper than what he did, he would have put other weaponsmiths out of business. Other weaponsmiths could remain in business because his prices were high. He made more than enough off of them, and he sold plenty. But other people could stay in business because he wasn't effectively driving them out of business, right? And he could have outfitted probably the entire server in gear. He had so many resources just banked. And he had good stuff. He didn't even sell the good stuff. The really good stuff, he kept for himself, or he would loan it to people. He loaned me some weapons once when I was his bodyguard for a while when he was grinding Jedi. Ridiculous stuff. And he never even put that stuff on the market. He kept like anything that was in the top 1%. He kept for his own personal usage, and everything else got sold. So you got to keep like the artificial scarcity. You got to keep in mind, like, everything has value, and you should consider that value, but money's value is determined based off your personal disposable income. I don't know so here's the thing. They lost potential income and it ate into development time. Developers, I don't think, and as a general rule, I don't think developers are worried about something eating into development time if it's a revenue generating system. Right? I'm like, why are we sitting here? We're sitting here because we couldn't kill the Frost Giant, because we don't have a tank. We couldn't tank the Frost Giant. So as long as it's a revenue generating system, that's not really a big deal. The problem was this clearly was a revenue eating system, and in that situation, yeah, then development time becomes a problem. If it had generated more revenue for them, they would have just staffed. They would have potentially just increased staffing to deal with it, right? Which is what they've done in the past. Zekline, I don't agree with you at all. Again, I tried to explain why that's the point that it made other things feel undervalued doesn't change when you remove the value. It does. Like, if you price something horribly wrong and then you stop pricing it there, Look, if there are people who just want to be hard-headed and go, well, nothing you have is worth anything now, that's a you problem, not a them problem. I mean, if everyone were like that, it would be a them problem, but it's not. That's a you as a consumer problem who now thinks, well, I've seen it one way once and now I'm not going back ever. That's a you problem. The other things aren't undervalued. The other things remain the value they were before. They always had value. They always, some of the packs, more value than others. And that's always, again, that's based off disposable income, not any kind of objective system. It's subjective. So if for you there isn't anything that's worth the money because to you that was what it always should have been before, that's a you problem. And if that's the way you feel, then you don't want to spend the money on the game anymore, that's fine. You don't want to play the game anymore, that's fine. That's the way games go. But to act or portray that as just a fact, no, it isn't. Hey, Regina. What do you think about a similar structure but 3 champions at $20? I don't think if seasons ever come back that it'll ever be anything that's even remotely close to that. I think that the current system of events for reworking champions is better than seasons was, personally. But again, that's just subjective opinion. I don't know what a season would look like. I mean, I was always curious as to what a season would look like in this game, because this game doesn't have the kind of things that I've seen in... Like, the only other real season that I've been able to... Well, I've had 2 games. I've played 2 games that have seasons that I actively participated in. And that's like Destiny and Raid. And Raid's seasons are all about gear. You couldn't do that in this game, really, because it's all random like stuff and rolling stuff and blah blah blah, right? And then Destiny's was this weird amalgam. I never paid for it because I wasn't that into the game, and it was about access to content and stuff. And I don't think that system. I don't think either of those systems really work in the current Idle Champions model. And I don't like the idea of reworking champions. I feel like it was the best go they could give it. But clearly it wasn't. Clearly that kind of fell apart over time. And you're like 3 champions. I mean, effectively a season was 3 champions for the most part in terms of reworks, right? It was 1 major rework, 2 minor. I don't want to see minor reworks ever be a thing they talk about ever again. Like, every champion, if it's getting reworked, needs to be the rework that makes them usable. For the foreseeable future, not, well, we improved them a little bit, right? That was always a semi-problematic to me in the first place. So I don't know what seasons could be. Like, they could do... I feel like, maybe there's potential for... like thematic seasons that introduce like skins, maybe. But see, the problem is if you throw the skins in the pack, you're basically just selling a skin pack. But it could be themed around groups. It could be themed around skins. You could include, some. They need to rework like a rewards track. The rewards were just kind of too good all across the board, all through the track. I don't think you do like the permanent, like you just keep re-rolling and re-rolling rewards forever at the end thing. I think you'd have to get rid of that. It would just be a track and it's a fixed length, and when you get it, you get it. Because you have to be creating a known value of something. I think what got them into trouble is the unknown value. They were looking at maybe an average instead of like min-maxing and seeing what the most was, and that got them into a lot of trouble. I don't know. I just if they ever do seasons, it's I don't think it. I don't think they should tie it to reworks. Um, but I think tying it around a theme and having like themed skins come and maybe some themes to like feats that are available. Like I think there could be something there. If anything, I think maybe seasons would be related to a system that isn't even in the game yet. I think you try to find a system. Like I've said this for a long time, I would love to see dungeons added to the game in some kind of way that isn't just, hey, I'm doing an adventure. Um, and having seasons tied to dungeon things could be cool. Like maybe rewards that are new systems that aren't even in the game yet. I think a season has to be around something that probably isn't in the game currently because I just meh. Mm. And they definitely, man, bonus quests cannot be a thing ever again. Their lost leader should continue to be the periodic champ giveaways. Yeah, no, that's their best lost leader. Giveaway stuff. I mean, they have two lost leaders right now. One is those giveaways, and the other is all the Electrum chests they give away. Right, that's a loss to them, but it's a loss that builds goodwill, and so are the champ giveaways. Yeah. What's worth buying now? The same things that were always worth buying. Shadow. I don't understand. See, I don't understand the perspective of people on this thing. Like it's always things you look for low cost familiars. This is what I personally bought was low cost or discounted familiars. I would occasionally look for skin packs that I really liked. Like I mean, this one's. I don't need another Human skin because I've got the dwarf one, but it's really freaking cool. Uh, you know, you're looking for things like that. GEs that are great when they're in a pack. Like that's all I ever looked for. But everybody has a different thing that they want. Some people love the skins. Some people just want to collect skins, like Mars, the skin collector. Yeah, I think it's going to vary. I think what you find valuable varies. It's subjective. It isn't just there's one true thing, which is what the season pass was. Is what the season pass was. There are people out there who literally buy everything. I know that shocks people, but there are. There are people who own all the DLC in this game. Declane, if you try to troll me with shit like that again, I'm just going to ban you from my chat. And if that wasn't your intention, just let it be known that that's how I'm taking it. And maybe adjust the way you talk in chat. With that, that's directly in response to that equity comment. I'm a little behind in chat, but you're in the wrong place if you think that's going to be okay here. What's going to draw new players if there's no interesting team to start with? The same thing that always drew new players, Shadow. This game never had seasons until a short period of time. There was a short window of time, and this game was successful and grew. The studio and everything over time. It's the same thing that always did. It was always driven by introducing new characters to the game and marketing those to those communities. It was the giveaways, the champion giveaways. The game always drew people. The game always drew people. Seasons wasn't what drew people. Seasons didn't make this game. If anything, Seasons almost broke this game. Yeah. People think that like Seasons, the game didn't exist before Seasons. Like, no. Like there was a reason they only made it to 7. That wasn't years. That was just 7 seasons. That was about a 2-year period, and clearly it was not great. But yeah, the prices of the other stuff in the game was, I mean, the packages were always So I mean, they did have a cost increase slightly. I never bought the stuff at the high end anyway, so it doesn't affect me. But yeah, um, like the game, played on Steam, got like 6,000 hours in it. Nice, all day long. I can't do that, but I think I'm in the 27,000 range on my Steam account. But I'd put myself easily over 30,000 if I count all my other accounts. All right, finally got to the hail hydrate, and oh, there's a lot of taxes that just came in. Hold on. Hold on, let me get all that. Ooh, hang on, we finished it. Lediath, what do you... Reject. Lediath, stop. Stop overpaying your taxes. We had this conversation yesterday. Alright. Complete. Nice, Loopy.